Welcome everyone to Vidyastra quick revision classes. In this video, we are going to cover one of the most favorite topics of UPSC, and questions that come from this topic are really difficult because we normally do not come across such animals and their behaviors in our life unless and until we regularly watch some channels like Discovery or National Geographic, but it is not possible for everyone to do that. But UPSC is definitely asking question every year. Like in 2022, this was a question on cultivators of fungi. There was a question on use of stick, which animal uses stick to scrape off insects. There was a question related to waggle dance by bees for communication. So all these questions are based on unique animal behaviors, and in this video we are going to cover 38 such unique animal behaviors which can be definitely asked by UPSC on 25th May. One by one I'm going to explain those behaviors, and if a question comes in UPSC, it will be very easy for you to answer. So let us first start with elephants. Elephants, what they do is they exhibit empathetic behavior, means they exhibit empathy for their counterparts, for their family members. If one of them dies, it is really difficult for any elephants to forget that. Means they revisit the other elephant, they touch that elephant, or they sometimes just stand for long hours around their family member once that has died. Okay, so this is about elephants. Now second one is dolphins. Dolphins, you must know that dolphins are not fish, dolphins are mammals, and they some dolphins, what they do is, while they are searching for food on the sea floor, in order to protect their nose, here it is written snouts. In animals we do not call it nose, we call it snout. In Hindi it is called as thuthan. Okay, so they use another sea animal that the name of which is sponge to protect its snout or nose. They cover it with that animal while searching for food so that their own nose can be protected. Next one is crows. Crows, we already know, are very intelligent animals, intelligent birds. And what they do is they can make tools. Not only they can use sticks and leaves, not only directly, they can create tools using those sticks and leaves to perform various tasks. One of them is extracting insects from the tree bark. Next is pufferfish. Pufferfish is a kind of fish. I don't know if you have seen it or not, but puffer means puff, as the name itself suggests. It can project itself in a swollen form. Means it feels like that it has taken in a lot of air or something like that. Means it can be in the round form, it can show itself in a round form, but this is not the behavior that we are talking about. We are talking about the integrate seabed patterns. Means they can create patterns on the seabed to attract their mates while during the mating season. Next one is beavers. Beavers, you must know, beavers are known as the engineers of the animal world because they can build dams. Dams means they can stop flow of water in small streams by building dams using trees or wood logs. They usually do this to create habitat for themselves. Okay, so this is beavers. And then is octopus. Octopuses use dynamic camouflage. Camouflage means showing themselves as something else, or creating colors or patterns that can get them mixed with the surroundings. This can be this can be for both the reasons. This can be either to hunt, means hunt an animal, other animal, or to evade themselves, to protect themselves from their own predators. Okay, so UPSC, how UPSC can ask question on this is, it can give a list of animals which can exhibit this camouflage behavior. And as you know, chameleons are the other animals which can do this. Sea otters. Now, sea otters, sometimes students can become confused between sea otters and beavers, but you must know that sea otters are carnivores. Beavers are mostly herbivores only. Okay, so sea otters use rocks as anvils to crack open hard-shelled prey. What is this anvil? Anvil means something that it is actually a tool on which, if some in human world, if we want to do some hard hitting, or we want to shape some object, or iron object, steel object, so we put that object on that anvil and we hammer it with a hammer. So anvil is that kind of object. So what sea otters do is they use rocks as anvil. What they do is they throw, if there is some animals which they want to eat, so they will throw that animal on the rock, and which is actually they are using that rock as an anvil, and then that animal on that organism's shell will be broken, then they can eat it. Honeybees perform waggle dance. This is very important. Look, honeybees do not have any vocalization skills, means they cannot create normally create voices. So what they do is to communicate, they use complex dance forms with which they can, believe me, communicate both direction and distance. Direction is fine, distance is something very, very, sophisticated thing to communicate, especially for an animal which does not have well developed vocal or language. Okay, so they can do that using their waggle dance. Squirrels pretend to bury nuts. You need to understand, pretend to bury nuts. They do not bury their nuts normally, but what they do is they pretend to bury nuts. Means if some other creature is seeing them, what they will do is they will pretend that they are burying their nuts there, so that animal will start searching for those nuts on that buried place, and their actual food will be protected from that animal. Okay, chimpanzees use medicinal plants. This is very important. We normally believe that humans are the only creatures capable of using plants for medicinal purposes, but chimpanzees also do that. African elephants, again elephants, dig water holes in dry river beds to access groundwater. This is a very, very complex behavior which is seen normally in humans, but elephants can also do that. Gorillas use tools such as sticks to test water depth and create bridges. Okay, means if they have to test water depth, means if they are crossing some stream or river, to protect themselves from drowning, they can first test the water depth using a stick. Veined octopuses use coconut shells as portable armor. Armors, as we know, used by warriors, used by people who fight in the wars. So octopuses can do same thing using coconut shells. Macaques, as we know, are monkeys, can use human hair as dental floss. This is very interesting behavior to clean their teeth. Woodpecker finches, woodpecker you know about. Woodpecker finches is a different, means altogether a different species, use twigs to extract insects from tree bark. Okay, again using a tool to serve some purpose or do some activity. 16th one is archer fish. Archer fish, very, very important. If you search this, you will see find it very interesting. Shoots water jets to knock insects of vegetation into the water. Means they can shoot streams of water, very thin streams of water, to dislodge some insect which is sitting on a some higher place or vegetation, and they can make that insect fall into water, and then they can eat it. Tardigrades, very important, very hardy animals, and this is very important. They can produce radiation resistant protein to protect their DNA from damage. They can produce such proteins which can even protect their DNA from damage. Tardigrades are very hardy animals, means they can survive very difficult environments. And you must know, in some recent years, Israel was, I think, one nation which used tardigrades for space experiments to test the environment of different planets or different space bodies, means some extraterrestrial body. Marmoset monkeys, another type of monkey, use unique vocalizations as name for communication. What is there? Does this mean that like we use different names for our counterparts, our means counterparts, the other members of our species? Marmoset monkeys can also do, not in terms of names exactly, Ram or Lakshman or this Rohan Sohan, but they can create different voices for to contact different of the members of their species. Giraffes engage in necking. Now, necking, you need to understand, this is a very violent behavior in which giraffes fight using their necks. They throw their necks around each other while fighting, and if you see this, Google this, you will find it very, very violent. You will sometimes it will feel like their neck is about to break. Okay, so that fight is for dominance or for mating. Okay, frogs survive freezing temperatures by producing natural antifreeze compounds. Now, antifreeze means something which does not freeze when its freezing point has been achieved. Okay, so let's say a frog has to live in minus 15 degrees Celsius. In such temperatures, even blood can freeze because they are not warm-bodied animals like us. Okay, our body can produce heat, but frog's body cannot produce heat. Okay, so what they do is, to protect themselves, they create compounds which prevent the fluids in their body from freezing. Next is killer whales exhibit coordinated hunting techniques such as intentional stranding and wave creation. Now, what is the stranding? Stranding, you need to understand, stranding means when a large sea organism is beached. Beached means it is washed onto the beach. Okay, so it happens, it is unfortunate. You must have seen the photos in Hindu also, when whales are beached, means they are thrown onto the beaches or from out of the water, and it becomes difficult for them to get into the water, and they are killed in that process sometime. But here it is intentional, means what they do is they use waves to get themselves onto the beach and then go back. And in this process, what they are trying to do is they are trying to hunt different animals. Normally this is to hunt sea lions or other such creatures. Bottlenose dolphins use conch shells to trap fish and shake them out. This is again a very important behavior. Conch shells, conch shells. You must have seen a shank, like shank, which is used in Hindu mythology to create that mystical voice. Shank. If you have seen this, either you can Google it also. So what they do is they use those conch shells. They first trap that fish, and once it is trapped, then they come to the surface and shake that fish out and then eat it. Okay. Green herons use bait like insects and feathers to attract fish. This is another interesting behavior. Herons are like they are water birds. They are like the egrets, which we call as bagula in North India. They use baits. They first trap some insects, then they do not eat those insects themselves. They use them as baits, and they can also use their feathers as baits to attract fish and then catch them. Egyptian vultures use stones to crack open ostrich eggs. Very important behavior. Res is a type of fish, uses rocks to break open sea urchins. Again, like what the sea otters were doing, using rocks as anvils. Chimpanzees use spears. Okay, and this I think you should not Google, because if you Google this and see the images, you will be very disappointed with chimpanzees. What they do is, these bush babies are another type of primates. They are very small primates, very cute looking primates, as the name already suggests babies. So chimpanzees, what they do is, if the bush babies are hiding in some tree or some place, they will use a very hard stick as a spear, like we use spears and humans use spear in wars, and they will keep on pushing that spear in those holes, ultimately killing those bush babies. Okay, and bush babies are very cute primates. Elephants again use branches as fly sweaters, means to sweat away the flies. They use branches. Okay, ravens you must know, ravens are from the crow family only, but they are bigger. Use sticks to retrieve food from hard reach places, as we saw earlier. Crows used to do that. Bonobos are a type of primate only. They use leaves as umbrellas. This is very interesting behavior. This can be asked, to shield themselves from rain. Then there are Greenland sharks. This is not a behavior, this is a characteristic. They can live up to 400 years, making them the longest living vertebrates. Rats, very important, they can show empathy. If one of them is trapped, they can show empathetic behavior and try to free the other member of their species. Sloths, this is again very interesting. You won't believe it if you Google it. I myself was very surprised. Sloths use a symbiotic relationship with algae to help them blend into the surroundings. You will actually find sloths. Sloths are very lazy animals, and you will actually find algae growing on their body, within their hair, on their body, and this will help them to camouflage. Why? Because sloths cannot move really fast, so they have to use camouflage. Camouflage means if they have an algae that is green in color, they can hide themselves within the trees. Okay, and you will find it is very interesting. Algae that actually grow on their body. Okay, and help them blend in the surrounding. This is symbiotic relationship because algae gets a habitat and sloths get protection. Termites farm fungi to digest food. Fungi creates some compounds which can help digest wood, so they cultivate that fungi inside their nest to break down the plant material for digestion. Dolphins, again we have another characteristic for dolphins, recognize themselves in mirrors. This is very interesting. Dolphins are very intelligent and they can recognize themselves in mirrors. Albatrosses, this is also true for Sarus crane. They mate for life. Sarus crane also mates for life, and for Sarus crane it is believed that if one of them dies, the other will not eat food and will ultimately die. Such kind of loyalty normally not seen in today's world, should not say, but ethics have gone really low in today's world. But still, animals, there are animals which are bound by their hereditary characteristic or innate behaviors. So one of them is albatross. Okay, pistol shrimp. This was in news in this the Hindu also, in a topic known as sonoluminescence. Pistol shrimp generate intense sound waves by snapping their claws, stunning small prey instantly. Means they can stun their prey. Means the prey will be surprised, and for some few seconds the prey won't be moving, so then they can hunt that prey. Okay, then tigers. This is another interesting. Tigers usually we associate with violence, but they use a sound nose chuff. Means when they are, this is particularly seen when a female tigress is interacting with her offsprings. So as we know, tigers roar, but apart from, there is another sound named as chuff, which they produce when they are interacting with when the female or the male also are interacting with their offsprings. Okay, and cuttlefish use hypnotic displays to confuse prey and lure their prey closer before striking. Cuttlefish uses hypnotic. What are hypnotic displays? Means cuttlefish has different arm-like things, so it can move those arms, or it can also create some different colors which will confuse prey. How will it confuse prey? Because the brains of some lower organisms are not so much developed. so that they can identify or process so much information in terms of color or movements, so their mind gets confused, and in that time cuttlefish can prey on them. Okay, so these were the 38 animal behaviors, very interesting behaviors and very very important for UPSC. I will be coming up with more such videos which will consist of topics which can be definitely asked by UPSC on 25th May. Take care and prepare well. Bye.